got Loki coming up, and I want to shoot that at the Dragon Con Marriott Hotel because that's where they filmed it. So
Loki,
if anyone
nice.
wants to shoot, reach out.
I also have Loki, but Team Loki. But I had the crown like 3D printed. I haven't started it at all, but I'm currently working on Kid Flash, so that's like in the works.
Right.
That would be so cool.
I haven't really picked up a camera in a whole year.
Hopefully you're at least recharging the batteries so it doesn't die on you.
Yep. Just keep your battery charged.
I'm hoping to do some stuff like in, I don't know, like 3 weeks or so. I get my second shot this weekend or this upcoming Tuesday, so give it 2 weeks to be fine and start doing it again. But yeah, what have you guys been doing otherwise between the pandemic and everything?
Got a Fortnite squad.
Oh snap! Yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah.
I have been just home crafting and working from home.
Right.
Basically, well, sometimes crafting. It depends. I've been trying to do like a binge watch, a binge watch, like all of the Disney movies over the summer, and then I did Star Wars, and then everything.
Right.
Yeah, I joined the Fortnite squad, so try to live up to everyone's expectations. I have been practicing walking with a weighted backpack, and when cons come back, so I can
Be ready.
survive through a multi-day convention, hopefully again.
Get used to it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've been playing some Minecraft and enjoying that.
I've heard stuff like you're a great Asian Black Widow. I was like, why is it not just Black Widow?
Right.
That's like, thankfully, that's like the most aggressive microaggression I've ever had. But thankfully, I haven't had too much. And the con community is pretty supportive too, and pointing out people and keeping a safe bubble around me. Thankfully.
All right.
I agree on that too. I guess I've only had like, cause I'm small, like I'm like what 5'3", and then I get like chibi, like oh you're like the chibi version of, like I do like Superboy and things like that, but I don't like take it like too much to heart. But I'm like I also am like okay, so what does that mean? Or like oh yeah, so you're like the Asian version of this character. I'm like there's a Superboy,
Right.
or it's just that character. But yeah.
And I was cosplaying as Cobra Commander, and I did have someone go up to me and say, Cobra Commander's not Asian. And I didn't really take too much offense of it at the time. I just thought the guy was more ignorant than anything. But hilariously enough, that year, back when G.I. Joe was being done by, I believe, IDW, or maybe it was Devil's Due, they did actually introduce a Cobra Commander that was Vietnamese. And so I was like, well, I guess you're a fake fanboy. You haven't been reading the recent comics because he's a Vietnamese guy now. And the guy was like, oh shit, you're right. Fuck. So I proved his ass wrong, but still, it was just like, okay, dude, like, first off, I'm in a helmet. Who even fucking cares? Like, you know, what the guy underneath looks like. You know, so whatever. It was just fucking ridiculous.
For me, it's actually, I think it's a little, I tend to find that the anime ones tend to trend, like, age-wise, just a bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, in terms of programming and from what I've seen, things that's kind of geared towards, like, a younger age range, whereas the Comic Cons tend to have things that's a little more, just like a few years older, but I'm right in kind of that middle mix. But apologies, I do have to take a phone call right now, so I will be back.
No problem, you can just mute yourself. What about you, Xia?
For me, which is more, I don't know. I feel like it's a hard question because I attend both,
Right.
but I guess the perspective of like a con goer would be like for like just regular Comic Cons, I see like more kids and more, you know, like families and whatnot. But if you look at more anime cons, although it's like for all ages, it's more targeted towards, you know, anime fans and, you know, I guess teens to like young adults to adults. But I don't know.
Rachel?
I feel like they're just so different. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm comparing like AWA, which is Anime Week in Atlanta, to Dragon Con, the events are so different. The environment and energy is so different. And even like Comic Con itself, I think both of them have like a very diverse mix of people and vendors. Then it's kind of just what media are you gonna geek over?
Right.
And with anime being, primarily Japanese, that's usually celebrated a bit more than you have at a typical Comic Con.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that when you guys were talking, and I was just like, it does, like, I do hear more incidents like that are like sexist or racist at the mainstream cons versus the anime cons, because there's more of a closer knit community at the anime cons versus everyone off the streets into Comic-Con.
I agree on that. I think with like the mainstream cons, people are like, oh, they just see typical like superheroes and like Marvel, DC, and like those mainstream. But if you get like someone who goes to like to Awesome Con or like just a typical Comic Con, and they go to an anime con, I feel like they're not. I can't use the word judgment, but they'll probably feel like out of place and like kind of like, oh, what is this? And a lot of Japanese animes and are like either for young adults or adults. So it's more revealing with costumes, of course. So it's very different. But then, of course, the Dragon Con, I've never been, but I've heard that like it's not family friendly either. So it's like a change of like scenery. But I mean, I've seen kids and families at KatsuCon, but I've also seen families when they see like someone who's like dressed up as like an anime character and it's revealing. They're just like, whoa, this is very different from seeing Wonder Woman at a typical con.
The best thing to do is just like stay alert, look out for one another.
Yeah, have a con squad, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for each other and other people, because I know some people are like, very wary, which is good.
Yeah, like yes.
Yeah.
Like a good thing is always like set up con signals with one another and be like, hey, if I'm in trouble, don't mind if I wave you over or whatever, or like pretend we have a photo shoot and I'll walk you away or whatever.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I've done it since high school, actually, but have been on and off for several years, just because of like funds, like college stress, that sort of thing. But once I did Dragon Con 2018, I had like such an amazing time, connected with so many people, all the Black Widows, the Marvel people. I met Billy there too. Like, it was just like the best con experience. I was like, why am I not doing this normally? And so after that, all of them were like, you need to make an Instagram and continue doing this. And so I've just been like full-time hobby cosplaying ever since 2018. And now I went from like having one costume I made in 2 weeks to like 20 plus for Dragon Con in 2019.
Oh my god, 20 costumes. That's what
there were
I've
a
been
bunch
hearing.
of small ones, but I changed a lot. I did mostly change. I didn't get to a single panel. All I did was change, wear the costume for a shoot, and then like partied in the lobby.
That's what I heard. Like, if you go to Dragon Con, you have to bring like your A game. It's hot, but like you have to bring like 30 costumes.
No. You can do whatever you want. If you want to wear the same thing,
Do it.
go and do it. There's no pressure to be at a level. I think there are people who bring their A game, but your A game is different than their A game, and I think the main thing I like is just enjoying yourself and doing whatever. Like I think I'm like Rachel. Like the only time I went to a panel was Monday morning because nothing's happening during that day, and I was just up. Oh yeah, I actually didn't sleep Sunday night, so I was up anyways. But yeah,
No preference if you want to change a lot, but a lot of times I would end up just changing into that same cosplay several times when I only wore 30 minutes for the whole weekend. So it's really just your preference and what shoots you organize with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with re-wearing the cosplay the same weekend. I mean,
Heck
fuck
yes.
it, you bust your ass, work building it, like fuck it,
Do
get the
it.
most out of it. Or
Hence why I want to go to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
I want to experience Dragon Con. I hear great things.
Like when I first started conventions, I worked myself like crazy. I like my first Katsucon, I had 47 shoots that weekend.
Oh my god.
And like I was shooting at like up until like 3 a.m. for Friday and Saturday, and I was just like,
That's what I hear too. People do back-to-back shoots. Like they're like, oh, no break, protein bar, maybe water.
but like the past, the last one before the pandemic and the one before that, I learned to start toning it down and relaxing, and so instead of like 47 shoots, I was doing like 12, 17 at most. So
It's still a lot.
it is, but it's not when you divide it between the 4 days. So because I'm usually there Thursday to Monday morning, so I was just like I'm old, I'm tired. I'm gonna actually enjoy the con and walk around and talk to people. And when I get tired, I'm gonna go up to my fucking room that's expensive as fuck and just relax.
And take a nap.
Exactly.
Shots.
Oh, drink.
I still see and then I see like a lot of younger cosplayers back when a few years ago. They're like, I'm gonna bring 17 cosplays to Katsucon. Now it's like, I'm gonna wear 3. That's it, just these 3, and half of the time they're not even in the cosplay when you see them at the con, because they're just like, fuck it, I ain't overdoing this shit anymore. I'm gonna fucking relax and like fucking enjoy myself.
Usually, you just wear the. Usually, when I like have my cosplays, I organize everything for the weekend. I book my shoots, and then when I'm done, I'm done. I'm done for the day, or I'm done with this cosplay. I'm gonna be casual, drink, and that's it.
It's like, when this piece comes off, that's it. Catch me now, or don't catch me.
This wig comes off, we're done.
Oh, that feels so good taking off the wig.
Like, can I take your photo? Like, no, I'm done. like a mess.
Well, I think I started taking photos. I always liked taking photos of people in university. I went to like different like school events and I took photos and whatnot. So I think my first kind of con that I went to exclusively take photos of was Anime North in Toronto in 2013. That was like when I was like finishing on my last year of school there. And then I didn't go back to cons for a while because I think I did go back in terms of like getting like autographs and whatnot, or like doing the more typical con thing for the masses. And then it was until I think 2017 when I was like, you know what? I have a camera. Let's just use it. I went to Calgary Expo up in Canada and started just. My goal was to take as many photos of as many people in that weekend, like just period. Because my thought is, everyone has reached a certain threshold of like, hey, I want to cosplay. So then they gather their material, make their cosplay, and like go out with it. And I was like, you know what? I really want to like help people appreciate that. So I started I guess it's called haul shots, but just started doing that in Calgary. And then I tried getting into the shoots thing because it felt like it was a typical thing to get into. And I realized just for myself, it's like, for me, I don't care about any like money gain from shoots. I actually, for myself, am much happier just taking haul shots of people, getting to interact with them, having got my like lesser stress. I don't need to meet anyone. It's just like, hey, can I take three photos of you in 3 seconds? And then so I think I was just looking at DragonCon 2019. I posted 1,500 photos over the weekend. So
that's a lot.
and that's actually of like each individual person. So I took a lot of photos, and I think it's been really good for me because I've met so many people like Rachel from these events. So that's like my story.
All right. Yeah, no, I got into cosplay. I got into the cosplay conventions mainly because I grew up a long time Marvel fan, grew up DC fan, Dark Horse movies, tons of sci-fi. So then I was like, wait, people dress up and go to these events? Fuck this! I want to go to this. And I've been to comic conventions before, but like we're talking like early '90s. They're like in a church of a basement where there's only like booth, quote unquote booth babes that were like half. Like they're like they're like in Party City outfits basically, but before Party City existed. So it was just like, okay, it's a rinky-dink, fold up tables in a church basement. You go there, it's more like a flea market than it is actual con. And then I saw photos from like the first New York Comic Con, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, these are insane nut jobs wearing insane outfits, and like, how are they not dying? And so I went to my first Comic Con I went to was the third New York Comic Con back when it was in February before they moved to October. And I was just like, I had so much fun, and the fun part about it back then was that was before it blew up. And so you was just like literally like, oh, I forgot Comic Cons this weekend. Let me walk into the front door. Hey, you guys got tickets? Yeah, sure. Here you go. Now it's like 6 months before the con. I need these tickets. So but I had fun. I was like, holy shit, people are having a blast. It was just like idiots running around like, I'm a fan of this costume. I love it. It's like. Meanwhile, you're just like, I don't know, I hot glued this shit back before there was like, all these tutorials about Warbler and styrene and everything. It was just like, what is this? Oh, this is painted cardboard.
Yeah, that's how, when I started cosplaying, my first comic convention was Baltimore 2017, and it was like really relaxing. It's, the mainstream con. And then I went to Anime USA that same year, and then I went to Katsucon in 2018. And being new into like cosplay, I was like, holy crap! It was like really overwhelming because I was like still new to it. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many talented people here. It's like crazy, but like it's like beautiful. I'm just like, oh god.
According to this, we have hit our donation goal, and there is a raffle.
Yes.
And there is a raffle for Anime NYC tickets at Sonicboombox's Twitch, and you can hit !raffle to enter. So congrats on hitting our goal and keep donating.
I want to go to Anime NYC. I've never been either. I've been to the New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is, I would say, my favorite con. From cosplaying for like a couple of years now, New York Comic Con is my favorite, and Katsucon.
Someone was asking what conventions that we are wanting to go to in a different state or another country.
Ooh.
Seoul Comic Con. I want to go to Korea for a con. Or Japan. Also Japan.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah, so I want to go to like abroad.
I would love to do I would love to do MCM London. I would love to do
I was supposed to do that too.
What's the Canadian one? YetiCon?
I want to go to London.
It's like
YetiCon is like the Colossicon similar.
Yeah. I'd like to do that. I would love to do San Diego. I've been offered to go to San Diego Comic Con, but it was always a work vacation. So it was a work trip. So I don't want to be working at my first time going to San Diego. I want to fucking run around like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
go to panels.
Yeah, I want to sleep overnight, trying to get like fucking exclusives. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I saw some of those photos from like the Japan conventions of like the one cosplayer and then like the sea of photographers around. I was like, you know what? No, that's not for me.
I thought you were saying you want to be one of those. Yeah.
No.
I'm like, yes, come take photos.
I do want to go to maybe Anime Expo.
Okay.
That seems like a big one, but I think that's the same week as. Is it? Yeah, I think it's the same week as Anime North usually.
Right. Yeah, I would like to do I would like to do like a con that's in Japan, or even like France. I forget, there's a con in France. I forget. The only problem with those two really is more as a photographer is I have to worry about the copyright laws over there. So like for example, those two countries, the copyright law favors the subject. So like they're better reinforced. The model cosplayer would have more rights to the photo versus the photographer. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's something you have to worry about when it comes to like prints and social media and stuff like that.
Oh, like in selling and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I want to go to Japan too. There's a Comic Con in the Philippines called Asia Pop Comic Con that I want to go to.
There's so many. I think there's almost like one or two every weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder how
Can we
those
have
have
that?
changed with COVID though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is also like, I mean, with the COVID, the pandemic closed down a lot of smaller cons for good or
Mhm.
bad, and it'll be interesting to see how everything changes because now it's going. It got to a point where it was like, at least for New York and New Jersey, it got so saturated. It felt like there was almost a con or a costumed event going on every weekend, if not
Yeah.
2 or 3 competing on the same weekend, and it got ridiculous because it used to be like. You're like, oh, hey, I'll see you at Anime Next. I'll see you at this con or this con. Now it's like, I'm going to be at this con. Oh, man, we're going to this one. Sorry. Shit like that.
Mhm.
So we'll see how the oversaturation affects everything.
I think this year will be like a test. Like all the first few cons, everyone that's hesitant is gonna just watch the numbers of
Yeah.
everything and how con crud is. Like I cannot imagine how
Ooh,
con
like
crud
a
would be
mix
this
of
year.
everything. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
because the first con that I know of that's gonna happen is Colossal Con, Ohio, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not going, but there's also BlurredCon, which is in July, and then August is like, I guess it's like Dragon Con and Otakon and what else is in August? Awesome Con, which is a mainstream con. So I wonder how that's gonna play.
I think they'll all be watching Colossal Con to see what
You can
happens.
be like, let's see what happens at Colossal Con.
I mean, not for nothing, I would love to do ClassCon East. I had fun there. I would love to do New York Comic Con, but I just want to stay safe first off because, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be vaccinated by then, but that's not going to be a guarantee I can't get sick, which a lot of people are running around thinking, oh, you're immune. Like, no, you're not. You just are going to be more resistant and you're going to be tolerable, and hopefully you'll be avoid the hospitals or any serious illnesses, but you still can get sick. And you're still going to be able to give other people the freaking disease because it's airborne. Like your vaccine's in your bloodstream. Like it's going to take time. And it's just bad.
It's summer. It's summertime. I mean, spring. People are out and about.
Like
now,
it's bad
so.
enough. It's bad enough that people already get sick from the common cold or the flu, which are more, whatever, the prevalent. But then I know there was 1 year at Anime Next where there was whooping cough. And then I know Katsucon, or was it MagFest, one of them?
Holy
There
crap!
was 1 year they had Legionnaire's disease or something like that.
Oh jeez.
Or am I maybe I'm switching them around? But yeah, and so people got sick from that, and it's just like, yeah, you guys can't even handle these existing diseases, much less a new one. So
I'm for sure. I think MagFest 2020. A lot of people got sick because I got sick. And then I posted it on social media, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, I got sick too!" And everyone's like saying they got sick. And I said, "I think everybody got COVID at this con."
right.
And then when it started rolling out, like in February, and it was like hush hush, and then March, everyone's like, "I think we all got sick at MagFest," because the next day, like on Monday, everybody was like not at work for the next 2 weeks. Had like a fever, cough, like it was just crazy. So let's see what happens in summer.
Yeah, I know.
Hot girl summer.
I know. Last Katsu, I was like really worried too because I was like, "Fuck!" Like, there's Katsucon was right after what was it, like a week or two after COVID was announced, basically, or it wasn't announced officially until March, but it was still like there's a really bad.
It was talked about.
Yeah, there's a really bad disease going around and it's airborne. I'm like, oh man, I'm already feeling cautious because it's like airports, it's gonna get passed around. But I still went. I mean, but
Wasn't there a Corona night at Katsucon?
Yeah, there was. It was Friday night. It's weird. I was like, what is happening?
At that time, everyone was like laughing, like this is the best thing. And then after literally like a week or two, I was like, this isn't funny anymore.
Everybody's not watching
well.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Doku. Yeah. Katsucon's con chair died from whooping cough.
What?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so yeah, that was like the one serious thing I remember. It was one of the administrators got fucking sick and died.
Yeah.
And usually they're like not in the deep of like where all like all the crazy like drinking and touching of like stuff is too. I feel like that's like the dirtiest is like the LobbyCon parties.
Yeah, I mean they might not be. I mean they might not be in the thing, but for Katsucon the big thing is like the nighttime parties. Like you still got to pass through it. Usually, I think the con rooms, they have the suites that are like right above the gazebo area, so you're still gonna breathe in the same air.
Yeah, and it's humid. In Katsucon, it's super humid. There's like no ventilation at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, oh gosh, like.
It's in like a giant greenhouse almost, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But I know for myself, I'm like thinking, even if I do go to Dragon Con, would I take that random drink from that random person?
No.
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 Don't do it.
I mean, you know, like, not for nothing, you shouldn't take random drinks anyways. So, but you know, I know some people lose.
What con was it that said that they changed their staff because of a lot of like racial issues occurred? Was that Colossal Con last year or like 2 years ago?
That was Colossal
their
Con.
staff had like, yeah, I was like reading about it on Twitter and I was like, whoa. And then also MagFest, I think, but I think MagFest was an admin issue.
Yeah, Colossal Con definitely had something, and then MagFest recently had something as well.
Yeah. MagFest is like completely shut down, I guess, until further notice.
Yeah, because I remember for last Colossal Con, people were debating on not going already.
Okay.
But yeah.
I heard that there's a con in Canada that's similar to Colossal Con. They said it's way better.
Yeah,
and I was looking into it. It's like in June.
Talking about YetiCon.
YetiCon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let me look into that. 2020. I'm like, oh, there's COVID, so I can't.